Hey Rick, how are you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, all right. Okay, let's see. Where are we? Here. Okay. So you already have access to 302 now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know if yesterday you joined the previous Zoom link. Um, but yeah, I think that's why I couldn't get into the Zooms because like the previous class no longer shows up
Hmm.
in uh
Okay.
my digital crafts. I forgot what it's called, but where I go for my classes.
Oh, okay.
There was
Yeah,
there
yeah,
was
yeah.
no Zoom link for me to go
There's
to.
no. Yeah, yeah. No, don't worry about that. Yeah, I mean, I joined the same link as you are in right now. But I think, yeah, they forgot to enter the Zoom link. I think they said that it's under discussions, but I don't see anything in the discussion. Well, there's meet your instructor, but the link is still not there.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Let me see. I mean, this is the link. Well, now I guess you have the link because you know the from the announcements, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's fine. Yeah. All right. So let's see the modules. Okay, so module number one, let's see. Okay, yeah. The module number one is AI, ML, and DS uh, programming tool, data structure programming tool, or data science programming tool, I guess. And let's go through this a little bit. So this is where you will learn. I think they have like everything mixed up over here. So in the interactive assignments, this is more like reading stuff that you'll have to go through, historical overview of data science, machine learning, and all that stuff. And they have like choose the best answer, or multiple choice questions. And if you complete those things, then eventually they get to the labs. And I think instructor one, two, three, four, discussion, then discussion board, engagements, assignments, and then the lab assignment. So lab assignment on Zybooks is the one that will have kind of like a programming stuff, list basics. So list basic stuff, you'll find it kind of easy. Let me click on the one module one interactive assignment, module one lab, list basics, set basics, importing packages. I think this one is more about scikit-learn and how to do they do the fit? I don't think they scikit-learn model package, reading, all the stuff, pandas, linear model dot fit. Fit means this is where they're actually kind of like training, I guess, the model. But that's fine. I think one of the things I want to show you over here is if we go ahead, if let's say that if I go ahead and reset this, maybe I think it is already reset it. Okay, there we go. If I go ahead and reset this, and if I want to simply check, just run some Python command and run this, you will see that it doesn't really allow me to do that. Because what's going on is that instead of executing line number one, it looks at all the code that we have written or it was already there, and it's trying to see if it's correct or not. So I asked, I mean, I called them, like the Zybox people, and what they told me is, well, one thing you can do is just kind of like comment out everything. Like I don't know if there's a multi-line comment that you can do, but what you can do is kind of like comment out everything, which is kind of annoying that you have to do it this way. But now if I run the program, now you can see it prints out hello world. And the reason I'm showing you this is when you are working with pandas and working with all of these things, you may want to read something, you may want to look at the data set before you can do anything. So if I go ahead and load this data set, which is homes under homes, I guess it's called homes.csv, and I want to print out homes. Okay, let's see. Oh, I don't have the PD over here also. So import NumPy from pandas. Well, this is not the code for import. So import pandas as PD. There we go. So we can actually look at when we are loading all this stuff. So this is going to be helpful for you if you are, since you're doing these activities or when you go through these activities and you want to actually see what's in the homes.csv file, then you kind of like have to comment out everything and then simply print these things to get a better idea. All right. All right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go again over pandas, and I'll give you a file. We can kind of like go over it together. We're going to learn about different things you can do with pandas. You have already learned a little bit about pandas, but we're going to go a little bit more. And then on Monday and Tuesday, we can learn about scikit-learn and how to do, these linear regression. What exactly is linear regression? How to even train from linear regression, or how to uh, perform prediction using linear regression. All right. I don't think this is predicting. This is just kind of like training, but predicting, you have to use the predict function. So I don't think they're calling the predict. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a particular file on your chat, and you can load that file in your Jupyter notebook. So let's go ahead and see. This will be sample project, and I believe it's called card sale or something. This one. Okay, so so that file should be there. You can simply load it. So if you go to your Jupyter notebook, there should be a button called upload. You can click on that button, and you can just load that particular CSV file. All right, let me know when you're done like loading, and we can then kind of like look into pandas and what we can do with pandas. Okay. Okay. And you can create a new Jupyter notebook, or you can work on your existing or whatever. It doesn't really matter. You have uploaded the file, car.csv.
I have it in my folder. I'm uploading it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I think I have it.
All right. So we're just going to look at pandas because pandas is used everywhere. And you already learned about pandas. The main reason you would use pandas, or the main benefit of pandas, is that the data that you get from the CSV file or the data that you get from anywhere, that's not always going to be in a correct format, meaning it may have some columns that you don't want. It may have some columns that need some calculation. Maybe somebody is giving you data in for the car sales, but that has kilometer instead of miles. So you need to convert those things. You need to get the data. Sometimes the data will not have, maybe they forgot to enter how many doors does this car have. So what to do with that data, or what to do with that record. So I've already created this Jupyter notebook and I have the file. So I'm going to go with import pandas as PD. So I am simply importing pandas, which is my package, and I'm going to refer it to as PD. Shift enter. So if I say shift enter, it's just going to execute that line. So the first is load the CSV file, and we can say card sales pd.read CSV car sales.csv. It's going to load the files, and now we can actually display it. So that's a really cool thing about Jupyter Notebook, is you can simply run the code and it will show you what that particular thing outputs. So now we can load card sales. Now, if I want to load, now there are like what, 9 records or 10 records over here. I don't really want the 10 records. I only want like 5 of them. I can say card sales.head. So that is going to give us only a couple of records, only 5. And if you want the bottom 5, then card sales.tail. You can also pass a number into head. You can say, oh, I only wanted like 3 records. So I can just pass in 3, and now it will only print out 3 records. Now these records, I think I got this data from somewhere, or maybe it was generated by ChatGPT. You can generate these dummy data from ChatGPT. It has these column make, color, odometer in kilometers, number of doors, and price. And if you look over here, obviously most of these cars have 4 doors. One of them has 3 doors, and then we have 5 doors. And then we have kind of like the pricing of that car. All right. Now, if I want to access a particular column, you can always do card sales and make, where make is the name of the column. And all of these things like card sales make, you can also wrap this with type. If you just wanted to know what type is this, like card sale is something, but what is this? And you will find out that it is data frame. And data frame is nothing more than, coming from pandas, it's more of a representation of spreadsheet data, something that can have columns and rows, and that is represented by data frame. But data frame is part of pandas. You can see it's coming from pandas.core.something. So it's coming from pandas. If I want to access a column name odometer, then I can do card sales and writing the name of the column exactly as it is. So I can copy this column name, and I can also get odometer. All right. Now, what do you think we should do? Right now, the odometer reading is in kilometers, and within US, we use miles. So how can we convert the odometer into miles? So basically, I want this column, the same column, which is right here. I want this column to say odometer miles, and I want all the data to be in miles. So how do we do that? So go ahead and try it out on your end. We'll give it a little bit of time, maybe a couple of minutes, and see if you can convert this. How do we do that? How do we convert this odometer into miles? All right, so you try it out and then we can do it together.
All right.
All right. All right, let's go ahead and see how we can do that. So, or one of the ways at least. Now we have card sales, odometer, and what we want is we want it to convert to miles, right? So if we want to convert this into miles, we can use card sales. Well, we'll use the same thing, card sales of odometer. And in order to convert to miles, I believe you multiply by 0.621 or something like that. So we'll multiply with that. Now it's going to give me something like this. So it's multiplying each reading with 0.621. And if we look over here, Toyota White, I think it was like 150,000. Now it's coming out to be like 93,000. So it's definitely multiplying. It's definitely, doing something. I mean, it's multiplying by that. We don't really care that much about dot or all these points, all these numbers after the decimal. So For that, you can go ahead and round it off. So we can round it off. And then we can go ahead and assign it to card sales odometer, basically the same column that you're doing. We're just going to assign it back to that same column. But the column name is still odometer kilometer. And this is where you can go ahead and rename the column. So card sales dot rename columns. And now we can provide a dictionary that what exactly are you renaming? In place true. In place true means that the card sales data frame is going to change in place. It's not going to return you the change data frame. It's going to do that in place, meaning it's just going to replace the same thing. So we're replacing the kilometer over here, and we're replacing it into whatever column we need. I think we don't even need odometer now. It's too long to type. We can just call it miles. And now if I go ahead and look at sales, card sales, oops, in place.
You colon instead of comma.
Oh yeah, so over here it will be colon because it's a dictionary. And if I run this again, we will see the miles. There we go. All right. So these are the common operations that you'll be doing when you're working with, when you're working with pandas, because somebody will give you some data that's in kilometer and you want to change it to miles. Sometime somebody will give you data with 3 doors of car. Now, I don't know if there's a way for cars to have 3 doors, maybe there is, but that kind of data, it's up to you if you want to replace it. You can also try to use this to find that how many of them are Toyota. So you can also try to write something which will tell you that how many of the cars that you have in your data frame are Toyota. So car sales, and we are going to be using car sales, make, where make is Toyota. All right. Now, we still have to, so this is all the Toyotas, but if you want to find the length, we will use a length function. So basically this is saying card sales, and then you have card sales, which is kind of like an inside another data frame. You're saying card sales of make is Toyota, and give me that, and then find the length. So there are only 4 Toyotas in there. All right. Now, if we want to add another column over here, then we can say card sales, electric, and we can add another column like this. So this means that now our card sales will have another column. I mean, all of them are like electric. So we're just going to say, okay, electric. But we can also do something like, we can say that if the price of the car is greater than 7,000, then only those cars are electric. We can try to do that also. So in this case, we have a couple of cars, maybe 3 cars that are more than $7,000, and we want to make only those cars as electric. So all the other cars, they should not be electric. So let's start with making them false. So now everything is false, and these cars where the underlining is, these cars should only be the ones that are electric. So how can we write the code for that? So go ahead and try it out. All the cars, basically what we want to do is only cars that are more than $7,000 will be marked electric equals to true. So go ahead and give it some time. Try to figure out how you can write the code for that scenario. All right, let's see our different approaches we can use. The first approach we might use may not work. So let's go ahead and see. So we'll say car sales for the price. I mean, that might be our first approach, greater than $7,000. If I do that, it already gives me some issues. And if you see at the bottom, it's going to tell you that not supported between instances of str, which is string, and integer. So basically what it's saying is that the price, if you look at the column, what do you think the price column is? Like what's the data type of the price column,
Yeah, I tried that as well. It's a series of strings. It's
right?
not actually num integer.
And yeah, we can kind of like try it out. Like we can say car sales price. Well, it's a series, I guess. Okay, maybe we can do car sales of price of 0. It's str, right? Str means string. So all of these car prices are string, and if they are string, then we can really perform a greater than operation that we were doing, car sales of what is it, price greater than 7,000. Yeah, so if we do that, we're going to get the same exact problem. So what we want to do is somehow we want to change this in our comparison. We want to, before comparing it, we want to change it into an integer. Yeah, not a float, but integer, and then perform the comparison. So one of the ways, and there are many ways, one of the ways to change it is to use the replace function. And what replace is going to do is allows you to use a regex expression. Regex is a kind of like a language for symbols, and it allows you to for performing matching. So what we are saying over here is if you find in this, these are the different things you're going to find. If you find anything like a dollar sign or a comma, all of these things, you are going to replace it with, well, nothing, empty. And we're also going to say regex equals to true. So regex is simply patterns, and we can check it out. Like if you go to regex lib, I mean, that's just one of the websites. And if you search for SSN or something, this is regex right there. So you can see the regex language is kind of like a bunch of symbols, and it's kind of like a pattern. Over here for the social security regex pattern, it is saying D as in the number, a digit, starting with a 3 hyphen digit 2 hyphen digit 4. So regex is simply a small language that consists of patterns. Okay, so over here we're saying get the price or all the prices and then replace the dollar sign and the comma with nothing, with empty. So this means, I guess over here, the dollar sign and the commas are also there, right there. So these will be replaced with nothing, empty. Regex is true. And the resultant type, you're going to make it as a float. So whatever returns, whatever is remaining, so if you remove that and you remove that, so it will remain 4,000. You're going to treat it as a float. I guess we can treat it as an integer, but we can treat it as a float. And if that is more than $7,000, then give us true or false. So now you can see it's telling us true or false. But we still need to assign it to our column, car sales, electric, because that's the column that we want to eventually assign it to. And now if I say car sales, we can see that 22,000 is true, 7,500 is true, and 9,700 is true. So using this approach, we're able to kind of like change or update the electric columns only for the cars that are more than $7,000. And that line is in your chat, so you can paste it. All right. Any questions? Now, this is, I know this is kind of like a long line that you have to write, but the problem was that the price was in string. Well, it's still in string, but in order to perform our operation like a greater than or something, we had to remove the dollar sign and the comma, and we had to cast it to a type or convert it into a float decimal number and then perform the comparison. I wonder if what will happen if I convert it to just int. No, it doesn't like it. Invalid literal with base, I think because of the .00. So because of the .00, it's not able to convert it into something else, into integer. Because of this, these two .00 is messing it up. This part. All right. Questions? Any questions, Rick?
So I pasted the the line you gave me, and I'm getting a, syntax warning saying that the or I don't know if this is a warning or error, straight up error, says that the replace the dollar sign with the uh backslash dollar is invalid. I don't know why, because that should be valid.
Okay, let's go ahead and share your screen. Maybe we can take a look at it. Replace. Okay. Invalid escape sequence slash dollar. Hmm.
It seems to have worked, but
Oh.
yeah, it's just a warning. But I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what causes that warning.
Yeah, I mean, your code is pretty much the same that I'm writing. I mean, I don't see any difference. I mean, you basically, copied it or whatever, but
Hmm.
invalid escape sequence. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why it's telling you that. Okay, let's see. All right. So let me share my screen. Well, we can try to ask ChatGPT. Maybe ChatGPT will help us. I mean, I'm not getting that error or that even message, but let me go and try this. Okay. Let's say in the following line, I am getting invalid escape sequence for dollar something. Is an escape character. So when you have escape, to fix this, you need to either, okay, replace to R. Okay, what does R means? To fix this issue, you need to by this becomes, or you can use a raw string literal by prefixing it with R. So if you prefix it with R, does it go away? Like just putting R?
Yeah, let me try that.
Mhm.
Yeah, it went away.
Interesting. All right. Okay. All right. So our card sales is now we have is electric also. That's good. Now we can also add another column in this case, which is add van is van. I guess we can say is van. Or van is fine, is van column. So we're going to add a van column, like whether the card is a van or not, based on if it has more than 4 doors. So this can be easy because car sales of van, car sales, number of doors. If those doors are greater than 4, then that particular column will be true. So I thought there was a thing that has 4, oh, greater than 4, not 5. There we go. So there's only one car, which is BMW Black, that has 5 doors. So we're just going to mark that as a van. All right. Okay, let's see what else we have. Okay. Price, doors. Now, sometimes what will happen is when you have this data, um, miles or doors, not everything will be perfect. I mean, when you're getting the data from somewhere, maybe some of these columns might be missing. So if I go to my actual code, and you can do the same thing, we may have to upload it again, I guess. Well, I don't think we have to upload it again because uh, we are already using that. So let me open the file car sales in Visual Studio Code or any other program. And what I'm going to do is for the doors, I'm just going to go ahead and just remove like 2 entries. Just remove it. So basically, there are 2 things that doesn't have any doors. I mean, that entry is just missing. And now I'm going to go on the top and just say run all cells. Okay, so when I run all cells, you can see I have 2 doors that are missing, right? Because I just removed those doors. And this is very common. This is going to happen. You will have data that is just not there. So what should we do with that data? That's the question. I mean, we can remove it or we can fill something over there, right? So if I want to fill something over here, I can say car sales doors and fill NA. Fill NA means like, and you can always do a shift tab on this function, and it's really nice documentation kind of pops up, and you can read about it. Fill NA values using the specified method. Fill NA value. Values can be hashable, data frame, series, method, access, in place, limit, downcast, and then it may even give you a little bit more examples down there. Here we go. So it's really handy. It's from Shift Tab, and it opens up this thing. And okay. So what are we trying to fill the doors with? Well, we can fill 4 wherever it finds NA and in place again. In place equals to true. In place true means that card sales data frame will be modified. So we don't really have to create another data frame or assign anything. It's just going to be set in place. So now if I go and check out card sales, I think you can see all of them are filled out. So BMW will have 4 and Honda Blue somewhere, this one. Well, both are Honda Blue, but this one is a 4 also. All right. Questions?
None so far.
All right. Now, sometimes you don't really want to fill a static number, like a hard-coded number 4. Um, maybe we can find something else that we can fill out. I mean, I can go over here. I can say car sales doors dot mean. Like, what will be the mean of that particular door? 3.9. Now, you can't really have 3.9 doors. So you have to either round it off. Well, I guess if you round it off, it comes to be 4 even anyways. So either you can round it out. There we go. It says 4. So probably for the doors, it doesn't really apply that much because, most cars will have 4 doors unless you are talking about kind of like sports car versus normal cars, then it will be a variation between 4 and 2, 4 and 2 all the time. But for this, that is, if we want to just add a car or just assign 4, that's perfectly fine, I think. Okay. Now, in this case, miles, there's a possibility miles are also missing. So in this case, you can, create, or the price can also be missing. I mean, that can be a big pain if the price is missing, but it is possible that the price is missing. So if I go back over here into my code, into this, I mean, the actual data set, looking at the price, all of these prices, if we zoom in a little bit, the last column you can see price is string, string, all of them are string. What if I just remove one of those columns? Maybe a couple of these, 2 columns or 2 values. I think it was 22,000 and something else. And if I save it, let's go back over here, try to run all cells. Okay, so we're at the bottom where we have filled in the doors, but now the price is a problem. So we have these 2 prices that are missing. So what can we do in this situation? If the price is missing, what can we do, right? So what do you think we should do, like if the price is missing?
Um, basically whatever cells where it's not a number, we would take the mean or something like that
Mhm.
and replace it with the mean.
Yeah, that can be an option because if the price is missing, we can take all of these prices, get the mean, and just substitute over here. We can drop these columns if we want to. So depending on, what the other, I guess, how you want to approach it, we can find the mean and then put the mean over there. So the first question is, well, how do we find the mean? So I'll go with car sales, and we're going to get probably the same issue. If I go ahead and say mean, it doesn't like it because, again, the price column is in a different format, like it says string. So that's not really going to work. So what can we do to solve that problem? We can do kind of like the same thing we were doing. If we can say car sales dot replace, and in the replace, we can pass in the same thing, which is replace the dollar sign, replace the comma with nothing, empty, and regex true dot as type float. And you can even, I guess you can even call like another as type over here, but let's see what it does. Okay, so at least it's trying to convert these things into float. And I can also say probably as type again, integer. No, it doesn't like it, I guess. Cannot convert non-infinite values to integer. Okay, so probably it has having some issues over there with converting that to integer, NaN to integer. But at least we are getting the float values. We get the float values. And probably we can get a mean of that. Okay, so this is the mean that we're getting, which is 5,868. So now we can say mean car sales mean. And once we have the card sales mean, then we can try to assign it over here somewhere. Whenever there's a fill value, we can assign it. Let's just go ahead and first print out the mean. Okay, and now how do we assign it? We can probably say car sales price dot fill NA. And what are we trying to fill? Well, we're trying to fill car sales mean in place true. But let's see if that works or not, because the column price contains dollar sign stuff, and you're trying to assign it a string value. So now let's go ahead and say card sales. Okay, so it did assign it, but now it's kind of like a different value, right? You can see that it's a float value instead of a dollar sign. So what do you think we can do with this? How can we convert this into a dollar sign? I think we can ask like ChatGPT, like how do we convert it? Let's see if we have ChatGPT over here. So the problem we're facing is that we did convert it did enter the value over here, but that value, the mean value, looks like it's in an integer, and this one contains like a dollar sign. So how to convert, or maybe it is, it's hard to tell, but maybe it is already hard sales price 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And what will be the type of this? Yeah, so see that it's a float. So how do we convert this into dollar sign? I think that will be a little bit hard to do. How to convert this into, well, I guess this. Let's see. In Pandas, Python. Okay. Okay, there, I don't know if we need, kind of weird over here. Only using Python. So we have the number, and they have some sort of a locale that is setting, and then they are saying something like this. Okay, so let's see if that works. The first thing is we will import locale. Okay, so what exactly is locale? Locale basically means that it's going to have information about your machines, your system where you're running it, what the language it is using. It's using English, and it's a certain, certain English language. If you are in UK, it's also using English, but with like a different UK based. Then we're going to set the locale. I guess the locale is automatically set, but we're going to set the locale. And now we can try to get the formatted number. So what is our number? Well, our number, I don't think we can pass in multiple numbers over here. We can pass in this. And now we can say formatted number. Okay, so it did converted it over here. It's kind of hard to assign it now, but card sales, let's see, card sales over here. And then maybe we will say formatted number over here. Card sales. No, it doesn't really do anything. Not sure why it's not putting it there. I mean, if this is a number, it should put it, oh, because it's still NA and we don't really have anything NA now. So probably if we somehow remove this, then we can replace it. But that line should work if we had NA. But right now it's not going to work because we don't really have any NA over there. So that's going to be a problem. Unless we convert the whole thing, the whole column into number, integer. That's a different story. So you'll see that it becomes a little bit more complicated because the number that we inserted over here, we already inserted it in a wrong way. So I don't know if we can go back in time and fix that. Let's see. Card sales mean. Maybe I can add a column over here. I can say card sales. No, it's still there. Run all cells. Why does it say? Yeah, I don't know why it keeps on saying that it has. Oh, maybe it's in place. Maybe that's why. Card sales mean. Let's load it again. What I want to do is I just want to print it out. Not sure why. Okay, now it's coming out to be 588 for some. Yeah, there we go. So now it's changed. You can see that, right? Because of the formatted number. So it does take an effort to do that. I mean, yeah, this is the mean number, and then we have to format it correctly. I hope there's a much easier way to do that, but I don't know if there's an easier way. I'm sure there is, but this one does take into account the locale. But I guess in this case, we don't really care that much about the locale because the data is, we already know it's in dollar sign. So it's not in different currency. We already know it's dollars. So maybe there is a much easier way to do that instead of doing it like this. I guess that there's a formatting operator that you can use, which is like this somewhere, like I don't remember the exact syntax, but something like this. So that should also work. So I don't think we need any formatting locale in this case. All right. All right. Any questions regarding what we did today? We did a lot of, and still we have a lot of stuff to do, but we did a lot of pandas today. And you can see pandas is super powerful. And the reason that you will use pandas is the data that you're going to get will never be in the perfect format. Maybe you need to remove some column. Maybe you need to add some columns. Now, if you are looking at this data, let's say if I load all this data, looking at this data, and this is something that we will discuss on Monday, but think about that if you're looking at this data, what things affect the price? I mean, maybe there's a column that doesn't affect the price. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe all of these things does affect the price. But next week we'll be learning about that how we can use this data, because that's what's going to happen is somebody's going to give you the car data, and then they're going to say, well, okay, now predict the price of this brand new car that I'm going to give you. So which columns over here are making sure that it predicts the price? I think make is important. I think color also predicts the price. Definitely miles. Number of doors, I don't know. I mean, does the number of doors affect the price? Maybe, maybe not. Electric affect the price. Van, I guess a van does affect the price. Number of doors, I'm not sure. So in certain cases, if the things that you are looking at the data and you're like, well, this particular thing is not really going to affect the price, so you can even remove that column because you don't want extra columns in there that's going to be just, providing nothing but noise. So then you will only have the columns that you actually need, that can predict the price. And then from your application, you're going to provide the make, color, miles, electric or not electric. I don't think you need a van. And then when you enter a brand new car, which is not in this list, then it's going to tell you the price of that car based on the training, based on the machine learning algorithm that you use to train based on this data. So that is going to be like next week, we're going to learn about that how you can use a linear regression to uh, predict the price, right? And for that to work, you need a lot more data than just 10 rows. You need like thousands of rows, thousands of data. Like if you are trying to predict the price of a house, you need at least like 10, 15,000 different prices of the house that have certain things like number of bathroom, number of bedroom, number of stories, 1 story or 2 story, what was the build, maybe the surrounding areas, something that affects the price of a house. And using those, we can train an algorithm that will be able to predict the price. So that is something that we're going to be learning uh, next week. But make sure to go through, it is a lot of work, like in this particular 302 course, you will see that it is a lot of work, so you will have to do a lot more work over here. You can see over here. And just to give you a heads up, there may be some assignments that are missing over here. I have to double check, but they haven't really added. So I'll talk to the management, and those are also long assignments. So make sure that you do at least the ones that are here. And then if they're adding those assignments, I'll tell them when to add those. Well, not when to, but I need to tell them that it should be added. All right. All right. Any other questions before we wrap up?
No questions.
All right. So yeah, keep practicing these things. I mean, this is important stuff. This is, this is where it gets real. This is what the machine learning engineers will be doing, looking at data, using pandas to only get the stuff that they need, training. We're going to learn about training. So that will be definitely be helpful. All right. All right, then I'll see you then on Monday.
All right. Thank you so much. See you
All
Monday.
right.